Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers, and it has been a long and dark night, but a very productive one. As you can see, I have welded up all of the little platforms here except for where the temporary car platform is. We'll change this out and make a proper garage for it in the future. But I've also taken the top off of the lander here. I've gotten it all the way down to basically expose components here. All the armor's removed, internal structure exposed, and so that we can access them and use them in the future. I also added a few lights on here, and we can take a look. Our batteries here will be depleted in 41 days, so plenty of power is still remaining in here, but there's no power generation on this thing. So we're basically just going to run this until it runs out of power, and then we'll transfer everything over to this base, which we should have fully set up by then. But the sun is cresting over the mountains there, and it is shining on my solar panels. And if we take a look at the battery here, it's going to be fully recharged in 4 days. So it probably, that will definitely go up, because these, as you can see, only got the one little green star there instead of the all four. So that means they're not operating at their best efficiency, but they'll get there. But now we can do our last little upgrades to our rover and then take it out for a nice test drive. So we're going to unpark it from the station. We got to take those and raise the rover back off the ground, so that way it is not so like scraping along. We have a little bit more of clearance, and let's get out of here. All right, we'll just do a little bit of a 180, and we'll park it in going this way, because we are going to go over there in a moment, as that is where we saw some wonderful ores in the last episode. But the first thing we need to do is put some ore detector on this, because if we don't have an ore detector, we won't be able to see anything. And I don't think I have any detector components. No, I don't. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to salvage one last thing from here, which is this ore detector. Give me this beautiful thing. Excellent. Yep, batteries are still connected. All right. Now that was a large grid ore detector. We just need to put a little small grid ore detector on here, and we'll just slap that down on top of the battery. And eventually in the future we'll also add some spotlights to this, so we can drive around in the dark and it will not be so silly. But we got that all there. We'll drop off our excess stuff. We'll clear our bar, and I always like to take, say, 100 extra steel plates, just in case if we need to rebuild anything or build some scaffolding or something to get ourselves out of a bad situation. We'll throw our hydrogen bottles back in there for the O2 generator, H2O2 generator, to refill them. And now we can go on a little bit of an expedition, which is great. We'll take our ore detector and put it up to maximum range, and let's go. We're going to zoom out here real quick, as you can actually zoom out very far when you're in rover. As we can see, there's the spots over there just at the top of the screen. There's those dark spots that signify where there's some ore. There's also some over there on the left, and we're just going to scout around for them. Alright, zoom back in here, and I still think this thing is a little squirrely. I don't want to be too crazy with my power and such, because we don't want this thing to flip over. So we'll put this down to there. We'll also lower our friction a little bit, so we're not always super grabby. Somewhere around there. Ah, there we go. That feels better. It feels less like a sort of go-kart and more like an actual car. But we shall drive over here, and as we get close to these ore patches, like you can see one there, hopefully, if our ore detector Not getting anything on the ore detector. That's not good. The ore detector only has a range of 50 meters, though. So it could be that whatever it's detecting is below 50 meters in the ground. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. We got a thing of iron here. It's right on the edge. It's actually 80 meters away in the ground. It has a very deep vein of iron. What it probably is that's the center of it, and they've got just a finger of that deposit sticking up within my 50 meter range. So what we can do is we can hit K, go to our GPS, and go new from current position, and then call it some iron. So we know that there is iron at that location. Just below there. We'll zoom out again. Alright, we'll just slowly crawl through this forest in this direction in order to figure out what's here. Stop on this little patch. No, nothing. Over here. Now, one of the things I did do is that scarce resources mod. So the only ores I'm going to see on the first planet here are actually just the basic ones. The iron, nickel, cobalt, silicon. Just the stuff that you need to use to make the first bits and the first ships. And nothing else, really. You can't build any of the advanced stuff. I can't make more of those hydrogen bottles that I have to refill my jetpack or my oxygen bottles. I can't do any of that stuff until I get out into space. Ooh, there's cobalt. I saw that. Cobalt's useful. Where is that cobalt? It is directly below me here. 100 meters down. Man, this stuff is deep today. This is deep stuff. Okay, let's park a little bit better. Come on. Show up again, cobalt, please. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Cobalt. New from our current position. Cobalt? Yes, bolt. There we go. But because we are lacking those materials, we're going to have to do some special things. Normally, hydrogen thrusters take a lot of ice in the H2O2 generators to make hydrogen, to use on them, and that's balanced out with the fact that they're extremely strong, but you only really need to use them for like emergency thrust sort of thing. But in here, we're going to be relying on those hydrogen thrusters for the majority of our space travel, and therefore what I've done is I've actually modded the efficiency for the hydrogen thrusters, so they're going to use way less ice, but I'm going to basically stick with hydrogen for the majority of the playthrough. So instead of, basically as soon as you get to orbit and you get into space, you move on to ion thrusters, I'm just going to stay with hydrogen thrusters for the majority of the playthrough, because there's going to be so few platinum out there, such few ability to make ion thrusters that just won't really be that useful. Still, just more iron here, so we'll just, again, mark the iron. We don't really need to mark them all, but looks like there isn't anything special here besides just some cobalt and iron. But there is an unknown signal, and it is within driving distance. And these are an awesome little thing. They give you cosmetics for your character, and well, can actually salvage a little bit of uranium out of this, which will be very useful as an emergency power supply in whatever eventual spaceship that we build. So let us go and grab this unknown signal. And thankfully, we have our vehicle all here and ready to get it. Just be up and over this ridgeline. We saw it coming down there with its parachutes just previously, and there's its sound that it makes. We'll just park up, get on out, and we can press a little button, and we got a prisoner rifle. So we can go to the med bays there where you set your cosmetics and such, and you can change that. But here we can also salvage this thing. Now I don't really need the armor blocks and stuff because it's just a single steel plate, but we will steal the reactor because look at that, we've got some uranium in there. And we'll also steal the cargo container, and if we push it over, haha, there's some stuff in there as well. So what do we get? We got a little bit of components, we got another 0.3 uranium, got some useful stuff. And then there's a parachute hatch which has a motor and computer, which are useful. We'll take that with us. And then this is just a bunch of armor blocks, so nothing we really need. So we'll leave that there. I wish to increase my top speed a little bit. Let's go up to 90 kph. That's about highway speed where I live. We'll zoom out here, take another pan. Oh, there's some more minerals up there. There's the ones we just came from. There's ones we spotted over there earlier. So we're just going to continue to drive around and mark some of these various mineral patches, and then I'll come back when I've got them all properly scouted out. Oh, we're coming up on another patch here. This is a huge patch, and we're getting lucky. We got some silicon below us. Excellent. We need that to build all of our computers and bulletproof glass and stuff like that, and displays. So silicon is very important to us. So we'll mark that up and keep searching. But there is a huge patch of stuff here. It looks like there's silicon everywhere over here. We're gonna have to do a great big strip mine in this area to get all of this silicon. And nickel! Yes! Okay, that's the other major material that we needed. Nickel. As we need nickel to build batteries and such. Now the only major one that I'm missing at this moment would be magnesium, as magnesium would give me bullets, and I'm gonna need bullets for defense at least, because one of my priorities is actually to build a Gatling gun turret on top of... Oh, yes! Magnesium! Oh my god. That's amazing. We need to build a Gatling gun turret on top of the base so that we can defend ourselves in case one of these magnesium enemies tries to come a little bit closer to us, which we wouldn't want. But there we go. We've marked out all the major resources that we need to start, all thankfully within quick driving, if not flying distance from the base. And this whole area here is probably going to be this just subject to one big strip mine in the future, simply because why don't we? We'll build a wonderful atmospheric miner that can just rip that entire countryside apart, because it is there for the taking as we head back to the ship. But the only other thing that I wanted to scout right away before I really start building stuff is a route down to the water in a vehicle. I don't want to always have to go down to the water with a flying vehicle. Like, you don't actually have to fly down there. I want to see if there's a route that I can drive down there. So we'll go and do that. And also, ooh, a surface rock. These things will have material in them very often. And this has got some nickel. So let's GPS this with some nickel. And why not even just pop out and see what we can find in it. As we got our hand drill, which allows us to start mining. And, oh, right. I have to put on another mod that automatically picks up everything for us when we're hand drilling. I forgot to put that one on. Oh my god. And there are all these little bits of rock and stuff that are flying away. But that's okay. We'll just destroy the rock so we can get into the nickel here. Oh yes, glorious nickel. Get these runaway rocks. There we go. Mine. Mine. Yes! And then get all the rocks that have fallen down. And unfortunately... Oh, are they getting away? Yes, our nickel is getting away. Inventory full, but that is okay. So we can just go and deposit it all into storage. And that will be a little bit of nickel that we can take back and put into our refinery. But let us continue on our little expedition down to the lake, as what I think I'm going to do, and there's a YouTuber that I like to watch that does space engineers content, and I'm kind of sort of styling my series based off him, is he did a sort of a rover trailer that carries his mining ship, just his basic mining ship. And he uses that to drive to his ore deposits, and then he uses a mining ship to mine, and then deposits everything on the rover, and then drives it back. And of course, this is Splitsy, if you're going to look him up. But I kind of want to do the same thing, so I'd like to find a route down to the water, or the ice in this sense, and then be able to drive it. But unfortunately, that is way too rough of terrain in this area here. We gotta go along the ridgeline at the top, and hopefully, let me recenter my camera, hopefully find a better route down there. Because this is either a way too high of a ridge and too much of a drop, or too rough. Alternatively, a mod that I do have on here is add some aerodynamics. So we can make a little like cargo plane and fly it down there, then have like a little drone on it that we can detach, which would be kind of cool. But it looks like we actually do have decent access to the lake. Excellent. And of course we're detecting that there's ice here because this entire lake is ice. As you see, we can drift on it. Yeah. Need for Speed Space Engineers Edition. Or is it Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift Space Engineers. We'll let us power out of here. Yeah, this looks like a nice, easy route to drive out. Getting a tiny bit of air there as we muscle our way up the hill. I have turned my power down on my wheels a fair amount so I don't have too much acceleration on the flatlands, but in these sort of bumpy areas, it means that I'm slow. Oh, no. Did I get stuck? No. I did not get stuck. Okay. We need to go into our wheels and up their power a little bit here so we can push ourselves out of this position. Come on. There we go. Haha. Climb the hill and back onto the plains where it'll be a much easier drive. So there, we've done our scouting expedition. We found all of our little bits that we're going to need. We know where everything is. And now, all we need to do is head back to the station. There it is. I should actually probably waypoint that, because I'm going to lose that one of these days, and that won't be a good thing. Just drive off on an expedition and just not be able to find my way home. That will not be good. But we'll just slow down and park our little ship here, and we can just leave it there. Its battery is going to be fine for, 4 days? But we can also just press Y, which will turn the ship off and not drain anything from the battery. It can just sit there and park, as there is no need to use it right now. Alright, we've got our scouting done. The next thing I would like to do is get some connectors and another conveyor here, and grab everything we need for a connector, grab everything we need for a couple conveyor tubes, and install a little docking port on this cargo container here. So we're going to, too high, I think, would be appropriate to get it a little bit away from the deck of the thing here. So we got a little bit of extra space. Maybe just one high for now. It's not like we're going to be that crazy with this. And we're going to build these up and create a little flying ship to go mining with so that we can deposit all sorts of goodies, use up all the power on this base, and get the refinery here making me extra iron and such so that I can build more components to use in the future. And you can see here, this is now green, so that means that is connected. So anything that's connected to there will go into this conveyor system and transfer all around. So if I land there with raw ores, they'll come down, they'll come across, they'll come through here, and they'll go into the refinery over here. So that is excellent. All right, so we need to create a small flying ship. First things first is let's get this nickel that we mined up before out of there, as, you know, why not? We'll throw it in here as a demonstration. Throw the nickel in there, and we should start to see the nickel get pulled out. Just one nickel, 1,000 left, and it's all gone. Then we can pop down, we can hear the refinery chugging away, we can take a peek at it, and we can see that we're getting some nickel ingots, which is great. All right. Let us go grab some various parts. We'll empty everything out, grab a couple 100 steel plates, grab some interior plates, and that should be enough to get us the ability to create the base of what we're going to do. We will clear these out, grab the landing gear again, switch it to the small gear, and start our... God damn it, why does it always do that? Come on, there we go. Start our little platform the same way we built the rover. We just make this little platform here going up, and then we can go out with it. But for this, because we don't have any worries about, like, this is a vehicle, so obviously we need clearance, and we want a skid plate at the bottom so that we don't damage any of the components. This is going to be a flying ship, so it's not really going to need any of this skid plate concept, because it will just fly. We'll grab our cockpit, we'll grab some battery, we'll grab a medium cargo container, and some conveyor tubes. Although, I don't think we need those conveyor tubes. I think what we need is some drills. And we'll get some small conveyors in a minute. But we need to slap all this together. So first things first, we'll get the cockpit in position, and I want it to be facing that way, so we have a bunch of room to make the ship onto it. Exact same as we did before with the rover. We'll throw a battery on the back of it, align it how I like. Excellent. And now, do I want to put the battery there? I got to think about how this thing is going to connect. So I know that the cockpit is going there, so I can get rid of that. And I kind of want to get out the connector, because what we need to do is the connector is going to face downwards like that. And it is going to connect just like that onto there. So this will be sort of resting on its connector. So we want this to be centered, because if this ever loses power, and this thing loses power as well, and the connector breaks, we want it to just rest on the connector and not fall off. So what we want is to take our medium cargo container and rotate it such that the large one is at the bottom and the small ones are at the sides, just like that. What we're going to do is we're going to land here, put that connector at the bottom, and then when we put on the drills at the front, which we'll probably just start with a single drill for now, and then we'll upgrade it in the future. But we can see this has the little cargo connectors as well. We can run a line back into the the storage container in from the drill so that it will automatically transfer all of its materials back. Now from here, we have the center point with the connector and the front of the ship. So now we can put the battery back here. That will allow it to extend the distance of the ship backwards. Okay, so that's good. So we've got the connector done, we've got the medium cargo in there, we've got the drill in there, but we're going to need some atmospheric thrusters. As well, we're going to need some gyroscopes, because that'll allow us to balance the ship out so it doesn't flip over. I think we're going to need 2 batteries on this, because at any one time, we're probably going to have not enough just thrust output, like enough power to run all of the thrusters I'm going to want to have on this thing. So we'll get 2 of those. We'll put a pair of large thrusters pointing downwards here. That'll give us plenty of thrust to lift this ship up into the air so that we can stay hovering. And we'll go small thrusters in every other direction. Now for backwards thrust, we actually want a significant quantity of it, because most of the time what we're going to do is we're going to like pitch down into gravity and then drill in. So we're actually not going to be operating off of these large thrusters that we use for hovering. We're going to be like falling downwards into the earth there. So we're going to want these. Now, where can I put these? I think what we need to do is run the small connectors back, because I might have put these large thrusters in the way, which wouldn't be a good thing, because we have to connect to the middle there. Right there is where we need to connect to. So if we get a tube, we'll get a corner piece so we can turn immediately, and another corner piece probably we can turn. Actually, we do need, yeah, we'll do it that way. We can turn down immediately. That bit. Oh, this is the finicky part of me designing ships. Doot, and then doot, and then straight tube, right all the way to the drill, and then we will connect it up. Excellent. So we actually only really need that on one side, but we will mirror it in case one of them gets damaged. The other side will compensate for it, and we will be able to keep our materials flowing in at a good rate, because that is all I need. More mats. But mix space here. Can we not place? No, we can't. That's unfortunate. It looks like we can place them like so. We'll figure this out. For now, we'll do 3 facing backwards. We'll flip that around. Oh, no, I don't wish to respawn. That was a misclick. We'll put 3 facing forwards. We'll put a couple facing each direction. Probably. What we got here? Put like 1 there, and then flip this over and 1 there, sort of thing, so that we can get a little bit of our side to side. We're going to have to make sure that we monitor our up and down so that we don't actually like flip and fall over. We'll put our vertical thrusters there, just behind, and we should have all the basics of a little mining ship. The last little bit here is going to be these gyroscopes, which allow you to rotate your ship around without using your thrusters. So you can just, like I'm moving my cursor around, you can do the exact same thing. Without enough gyros, you can't do that. So we'll add, I think 1 is probably fine to start. We'll see how it feels with just 1, and then we will adjust it from there. But that's good. We've got a little bit of extra stuff out here, like in terms of distance, but we've got more weight in the back, so this should be nice and centered. around the connector, and I will weld this up, and I'll see you guys when it's nice and complete. Alright, our ship is all welded up and ready to rock. Now, the things I have to watch out for are keeping myself flat to the horizon because I have very little left and right. I might have to redesign how these thrusters are in the back, but this thing should fly nicely. So let us chop it off its base, and it should just hover. Yes, excellent. And we can go and get into the cockpit. We got 34 minutes of flight time, and this is allowing me to turn around with the gyro on it, and plenty of lift. That's excellent. But as you can see, if we try to list to one of the sides, eventually we're going to reach a point where we start to fall because we just don't have enough thrust there. So we're going to have to make sure there's that artificial horizon. We have to watch it. Let us go and park this thing on the base and start transferring some of the power to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our batteries, and we're going to make this group called minor batteries. God, I can't spell batteries. And we will put that on our hotbar here, and we'll set it to recharge on and off. So as we park here, connect all up. Oh, landing gear is unlocked. I didn't want that. I'm going to have to make sure to put my connector onto its own thing here. Connector, switch lock. Alright. There we go. I can then set my batteries to recharge on the ship. And that'll mean that my local batteries, you can see these are the ship batteries, they're depleting in 50 minutes. My local batteries will be recharged in 11. So I can steal power from the base. And even if I wanted to, I could actually use that to transfer power. If I added, which I probably should, a little connector as well onto there, I could fill up the batteries here, fly over there, and then transfer them into a battery on the base, and basically steal the power from here. So essentially, I can power my new base with the old base now, or vice versa, because I have my little flying ship ready to rock. The only thing it needs is an ore detector, so I can see these ores as I'm doing it, which is an important thing. And I left a nice little spot for it. We'll slap that in right there, and we'll weld it up. And I want to see how much power we have. So to undock, we're going to have to turn our batteries off recharge so we can access their power. And then we'll unlock from the base. And we have 16 days of flight time. That is more than enough. We've got our drills ready to here. So we'll put that on. And let us go get some iron. How about? As that was one of the more required things. And I believe this iron to start was really deep, so we're going to go for one of the further irons, because we can get there quite quickly. And we can use it to mine it out. So let's see, yeah, iron 43 meters below us. Alright, let me just park up for a second. I'm going to turn my lights, my character's lights on. I should add some headlights to this thing, but my suit's lights will shine through and do a decent enough job for now. So what we're going to do is we're going to find a nice angle, and I don't want to go straight down as my ship won't be able to climb out at that angle. So we're going to get a nice, say, 45 degrees, and we're going to start with right-click mode on our mining, which just destroys everything. And then we're going to slowly work our way into the dirt until we get to the iron, the oh so precious iron. 30 meters away. Stop up mining for every so often so we can actually see what's going on. Because as we do this, it creates huge clouds of dust. You can't actually see what you're mining, which is annoying. But it looks like the iron might be lower than this. What do we got here? What is this stuff? This is, if we look at our storage, just some stone. We're looking for some reddish iron materials down here. This exploratory cavern seems to have not turned up what we want. Oh, there's iron 20 meters away, though. We're just trying to hold this angle all the way in. Oh, there we go. We've hit iron. We can see its glorious red hue, and now we can drill into it and start gathering its wonderfully ferrous body. Although we have to be careful because we don't have that much space in this cavern. And something I'll probably have to do as soon as I gather a little bit of this stuff is we'll go back into third person. We'll back off a little bit. Ooh, don't go too high there. We're going to hurt ourselves. And I'm going to, using the destruction right click, I'm just going to make a little cavern here so that I have the space to maneuver and turn around and do stuff down here. So I'll have my tunnel to get in and out, and then I'll have my little cavern when I'm down here in order to maneuver my little ship. There we go. So now I've got myself a little cavern, and I should add a couple interior lights to the side of my ship here so that I can see the edges of the cavern at all times, and so I won't run into them. But we will mine out a little bit of iron here, not a huge amount in the first load. Want to make sure that I don't overload my ship and cause it so that I don't have enough thrust to maneuver around with a full heavy load, because that would be bad. You get your ship full of precious loot and then you just can't get back to base because you're too fat to fly. But we will mine out what we can. We'll probably go into our medium cargo container is full. This kind of design I've done before, and I'm pretty confident we can fill this cargo container before we need to start thinking about heading back. Oh, glorious iron. Yes. Give me all of it. As we're going to need so much of the stuff in order to build everything that we want. So we're just about done that medium cargo container. We're so close. We just need another few thousand points, a few thousand kilograms of iron here. And that's it. We're filling up the cockpit now. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to aim out. And I'm going to very carefully aim that direction. Okay, good. We're not sliding backwards. We still have enough thrust in order to fly forwards, even on an upwards angle and with all of our weight. And that will mean that we will exit the cavern. Excellent. Mining adventure number 1 has been completed as we fly back to base, which I still have to put a waypoint on as I will eventually lose this. But thankfully, all of our mining is super close. That's why I chose this site. So we don't have to fly far, but we will come in for a landing and duck. There we go. We will dock up, and we will set to recharge. And if we open up our inventory, we should start to see the stone and the iron is being sucked out of there and being sent over to the refinery. And we'll put the iron first, as before the stone, as it is more important. And also probably before the nickel, because you don't go through nickel that much. It's mainly for motors, but I already have a bunch of motors with the atmospheric thrusters of that thing that I broke down. Like, I have over 2,000, so there is a bunch of stuff that I just don't need on here. What is it? Alt with my tool out. Alt right click. There we go. That's the easy inventory. We'll grab all of the crap out of here that I left in that. And we will also plunk it in there, minus the stone, which we'll go throw in the refinery to allow it to work. Now these things fully depleted 49 minutes from now, as these batteries are charging up. 49 minutes later, this whole base will be out of power, but that's okay. That is plenty of in-game time to get everything done to set ourselves up on the next platform. And of course, we can always transfer power back to this thing if we are in a pinch. But that is probably going to be it for this second episode of Space Engineers. I'm thinking I'm going to make these episodes longer. So instead of being like a 20-minute MechWarrior episode that I put out like every couple days, this is going to be like an hour-long thing once a weekend. So it'll be more of like a, yay, let's, put this on as you're making dinner or something like that. Or as you're going to work on some chores or something. You can have it on the background and hear me ramble about various Space Engineers things. But for the future, I think some upgrades that we need to do is we need to focus on a little bit of our security. We're going to get out some turrets, and there's all sorts of great turrets from the different mods, but in the meantime, we're just going to stick with the standard Gatling turret from just stock Space Engineers. I think I kind of want to throw a Gatling turret on the back of this rover. It seems kind of silly because it's so large, but we can make it work, just so that we have a little bit of defense. Maybe. But absolutely, definitely, I want to throw a Gatling turret onto the base here and fill it with ammo, so that if something comes by and attacks us, we have some level of defense. And then from there, I'll do a bunch of mining off camera, get a whole bunch of materials, and we'll start thinking about maybe making a solar tower, as these solars on the ground are just going to be good for maybe 4 episodes or so. But after that, we're going to have to make a nice big tower with automatic rotating arms so we get maximum solar coverage, as this battery is not storing that much. That's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and good hunting.